Do you remember this game?
Hey, come on over, have some fun with Crazy Taxi!
If so, then you were blessed to experience Crazy Taxi, a zany, open-world, arcade 1999 Sega classic, laced with adrenaline and snarky humor. Looking back, it feels like it would easily exist in a minigame in GTA 5, but it has stuck with me all these years, and I just remember the game giving off so much energy. You would drive around a fictionalized San Francisco to pick up fares and deliver them as fast as you could, to keep your earnings high and your time clock from running out. It was truly lightning in a bottle, with its perfect balance of simplicity and ease of use, and also being chaotic and challenging enough to keep the player on a fun-filled high. But what could be better than Crazy Taxi? What if you took that high literally and put the game in the sky? Yes, that's right, it's the evolution we didn't know we needed. It's called MiLE Taxi, and it's coming out on March 13th, 2023. It's made by one developer, Cassius John-Adams, a father and employee by day, and emerging indie game dev by night, as this will be his first public release. Cassius is a big fan of sci-fi, and some of you may have already drawn the clear connections to certain films. We're going to look at that, the game, the developer, and all other Easter eggs packed into this Crazy Taxi spiritual successor. So grab your multipass and let's get into today's Game Spotlight. It's the 24th century, citizen. MiLE City is hiring new taxi drivers. Ready to leave the slums, pollution, and lower levels behind? Get in your hovercab and collect fares already. But do not let your meter run out. That's the summary that can be found on their website for the game, and right off the bat, I love the energy and passion I'm seeing in this project. In MiLE Taxi, you soar and zoom all over the bright and bustling skyscraper city in a style that would make Corbin Dallas proud, picking up pedestrians and dropping them off to keep your time clock running and accruing as much cash as you can in the process. The game starts out in an elevator as you climb one of the many tall buildings in MiLE City. Your dispatcher Bones tells you the ropes of your new position and explains that you are only authorized to work between floors 600 and 650. It's here that we learn an AI will resume control of the vehicle should you try to exit this zone, and this dialogue does a great job overall of setting up the humorous tone of the game as well as the lore for the game's mechanics. Once the opening scene ends, you are greeted with a character selection consisting of 3 different drivers, Kyle, Skylar, and Emma. Each has their own unique cab and 3 different skins to choose from. According to YouTube, there are 3 different game modes for the player to enjoy: Play, Free Roam, and Challenge. But if we look on Steam, they're called Normal, Free Roam, Sequential, and an extra 4th, Racing. Play/Normal is the standard Crazy Taxi style game, where you pick up and deliver fares of your choosing. There are a total of 260 different passengers you can pick up, but they all funnel into 3 different kinds, indicated by the color of the zone they're waiting in. Red zones are shorter trips, blue are mid-ranged, and green are the longest trips. The farther the trip, the higher the pay. Just make sure you have enough time on your clock to make the trip. Purple zones show where you need to drop off your passenger, and just like Crazy Taxi, there is a green arrow at the top of your screen pointing to where the destination is. It will turn red if you're facing the wrong direction and grow in size as you get nearer to your stop. If you are cutting it close, however, there are helpful speed boosts that you can pick up on your way, and they'll be located in what's called taxi bays. Free roam is simply that, and might be a good idea for those wanting to get to know their congested sky turf a bit better. Just like in Crazy Taxi, there is no minimap of the streets in this city, so the baton of immersion is passed on to MiLE as it continues to force the player to get to know the layout over time. However, with the gameplay being 3-dimensional this time around, you can imagine that a single arrow on your screen might not be enough information. Alas, the developer has this covered and came up with some neat tools to further aid the player's navigation. There's a really cool and unique dynamic minimap that acts like a radar, indicating where passengers are waiting in 3D space. This neat gadget is also accompanied by a compass that sits on the left side of the dashboard, located in the top right corner. as well as a floor indicator on the right side of the dash that shows what level you're cruising at. If you're a keen hovercab driver, however, and you really want that raise from Bones this week, you can use all these tools to triangulate your passenger's destination in conjunction with the fact that they will even tell you which intersection and floor their stop is at. Interestingly enough, Cassius made the pedestrians flawed like real people, and there's a chance they'll give you a slightly incorrect address by stating the wrong intersection or level, though he made it clear it wouldn't be too disruptive to the game. Challenge or sequential mode has linear gameplay where you need to pick up certain passengers in a specified order and you can't move on to the next in line without delivering the first. Just remember, in order to activate any zone, you must come to a complete stop, so try not to put the thrusters before the hovercab in your hurry. Finally, I can't confirm what all racing encompasses, but it's pretty cool to see this mode in here. The game has the perfect setting for it as you would be dodging and weaving around buildings. Hopefully this image is up to date, and there are some AI cabs to bump fenders with and flip the bird in a futuristic Toronto race. But before we go any further, I have to make you aware that you will be needing a controller to play this game, as mouse and keyboard inputs are not supported. I'm sure most gamers have one lying around, but I do find this to be a surprising and disappointing choice in today's day and age. However, this is probably my biggest gripe with the game. The heart and soul of Crazy Taxi definitely lives on through Mile High as NPCs jump into your cab in over-the-top ways and come with all the nostalgic banter to boot.
Next time, I'm taking Johnny Cab.
The developer gathered a lot of phrases for NPCs from sites like Overheard in New York or London, so you will hear some unexpectedly quirky things as you dash about the city.
Last night, I was so drunk. Can't believe that I got so wasted off only a pint of tequila. In first year, I could drink like twice that amount and party all night.
The game also has tons of sci-fi references on billboards plastered all over the buildings, which is such a charming use of space. You'll see anything from specific movie references from the likes of The Fifth Element with this Aziz sign, and Demolition Man with this reference to the 3 seashells. What? You don't know how to use the 3 seashells?
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
To other games like Star Fox. He even reached out and included suggestions submitted by his community during the development of the game. On top of that, you'll hear the occasional meat popsicle reference. Cassius goes in depth in his devlog, showing us how he strategically placed lanes for traffic, even making sure the billboards were placed at the perfect height to be seen by this traffic, as you would expect companies in the real world to do. The layout of the map itself is based on the city of Toronto, Canada, the developer's current residence. I've said it before, but when you peer under the hood of what could be shrugged off as a simple Crazy Taxi remake at a glance, there is a lot of attention to detail that clearly went into this game to make it a believable and immersive world. Cassius did a great job grounding the game mechanics in lore, as well as showing us a lot of behind the scenes in his devlogs. One of those things that most excites me about this new developer and his project is not only his passion and desire to make something fun, but also his work ethic. He goes into detail explaining to viewers and other indie game devs alike the many ways he optimized his game, saying, "I spend about 60% of my time on optimizations." His 30 years of experience in game design definitely shows in these videos, boasting upwards of 100 to 350 frames per second, while containing 150,000 to 100,000 game objects respectively. Granted, on his machine. But he was even able to get Mile High running at 30 plus FPS on an Intel UHD 620 integrated graphics card. It's clear he wants his game to be as accessible as it can be, while also teaching others along the way, and I cannot praise this kind of approach to the indie space enough. He started working in Unity 11 years ago in 2012 and began Mile High in 2019, and here's how the idea came to him. I've wanted to play a flying car video game ever since watching The Fifth Element 5 times in theaters. Maybe even earlier with Back to the Future 2. In late 2019, some colleagues and I were sitting around our lunch table when a friend said there should be a Fifth Element game. A light bulb went off in my head and I remembered back to 1997, watching the movie and wanting to fly my own taxi in an insanely skyscraping city. His love for the film certainly shows, and I've even spotted a Lilu reference in his code. Perhaps there are more secrets to this game than it leads on. The events of the film took place in the 23rd century, while the game takes place in the 24th. So at the very least, Mile High City has about another 200 years before needing to worry about another potential apocalypse, returning to topple the bustling skyline into a dystopian nightmare. For now, it seems everyone is happily, although impatiently, living in a sunny world where the great evil has been defeated. In fact, Cassius states that he grew tired of the dark, dystopian look that he feels has been overdone in the sci-fi scene. He preferred the refreshing and more hopeful look of that from the movie and wanted to reflect that in his game. As of now, there is no price on the Steam page, but on their website, we can see the game listed at a suggested retail price of $16.99 in their press kit. Without playing the game myself or seeing a complete version, I feel like this could be a fair price. Keep in mind, the majority of Steam users wait for a sale to purchase games, so that could also be taken into consideration here. But all in all, I love the look, the vibe, and the return to form of fun-first retro games that just make you feel good and have a laugh. Of course, I'm a huge fan of sci-fi myself, so the concept, atmosphere, and idea of zooming around a lively, towering cityscape from the future really draws me in. If you found this video informative or entertaining, leave a like and let me know your thoughts about Mile High Taxi. If you want to discover another game, you can click this video right here. I've been your Captain Void, and I will see you in the next Game Spotlight.